Hello there. Happy Sunday,
hey,
friends,
guys.
Lovers. Welcome to 5 Minutes with Robert Nasir.
You forgot your hat.
I forgot my hat.
Now it's all better.
All right. I knew something was wrong there. Hello there. How are you all doing tonight? I'm Robert Nasir. I'm here with the delightful and gorgeous Amy Nasir. And it is Sunday, November 8th, 2020. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very, very much.
Today is Sunday, the 313th day of 2020, and there are 53 days remaining in the year. 53 days until 2021.
Wait, that's 5-3?
5-3.
53.
53.
That's almost how many squats I do a day.
Oh my gosh. That's right. Amy's on November 50 squats a day. Join her on the couch standing workouts every morning or afternoon, Monday through Friday, depending. Find her on Facebook.
Yes, find me on Facebook.
There's also 47 days left until Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It seems like Christmas was building up until Halloween was over. But there are just 357 days left until Halloween. And
that's great. Yes.
Just 17 days left until our wedding anniversary.
Oh, I wonder.
20 years. How could it be 20 years? We're not much more than 20 years old.
That's right.
That's just crazy.
We're just in our 30s. Wink,
or something.
Wink.
Oh, yes. And today, Sunday, November 8th, 2020, today is National Cappuccino Day, so that's why you see me here with an unusually foamy cup of coffee.
So foamy.
Fired up the DeLonghi machine and realized I didn't have any of my favorite coffee.
It's a beautiful looking cup of coffee.
So what we've got here is Café du Monde, fresh from Louisiana. If you've never been to New Orleans, Café du Monde is an absolute must-see.
Yes.
The coffee is a must-drink, and the beignets are a must-eat. So happy National Cappuccino Day. Thought I had something to say about that. The early cappuccino was born in 1683, and historians believe it was during the Battle of Vienna. But the espresso machine was patented in 1901. Cappuccino was officially defined in 1930, as we call it today. The drink was first documented in Italy as a coffee topped with whipped cream. This is foamed milk, but whipped cream and sprinkled with cinnamon or chocolate. See, we have Christmas coming up. That sounds more appropriate to Christmas.
True. Well, they had whipped cream more, that was more available way back when those Catholic monks were doing their coffee thing.
And cream, because you would milk the cow and you would have cream. Now we only have cream if we buy cream. If we have milk, we don't have cream. Unless you have whipping cream. Can you use whipping cream to make... Anyway.
You could.
My coffee is going to my head.
Yeah, it basically helped all those lovely Catholic monks stay awake while they were chanting.
As part of my research, my friends on Facebook tell me that Dunkin' Donuts was the largest seller of coffee in the United States. And they were just overtaken by Starbucks, which is sad because I like Dunkin' Donuts. I think Dunkin' Donuts makes a great cup of coffee. I want my coffee strong, but I don't want it to taste burnt, so I'm a Dunkin' Donuts snob.
Right. You don't want to taste it like earwax.
And I'll take a Dunkin' Donuts donut over any of the stale pastries in the Starbucks display case any day and twice on Sunday. Sorry,
Okay.
I just ruined our possibility of getting Starbucks as a sponsor, didn't I?
Starbucks. I love Starbucks.
Amy loves Starbucks.
Starbucks.
Yes, Amy's devoted. She has the Starbucks credit card.
I truly love the banana bread, and I always have them warm it up just a bit, and it's just perfect. It's delicious.
And what have you been drinking lately from Starbucks?
Well, of course, pumpkin spice hot latte.
So Starbucks, I'm sorry, if you want to sponsor the show, Amy's your gal. She'll hook you up. Or you'll hook her up. Or you'll hook us up. In any event, it's also a happy 54th birthday to Gordon Ramsay.
Oh, I love Gordon Ramsay. Just love that guy.
And Amy could tell you more than I could because she loves those cooking shows. I do the cooking and she watches the cooking shows.
I learn about cooking in theory, not in practice.
She learns what I should be doing for her instead of grilling chicken and doing all those guy things. But one question that came up, and this is what we want to know. If you are on our Facebook chat, if you are on our YouTube chat, what are your favorite comfort foods?
Yes. Tell us, what is it going to be? Is it going to be green bean casserole? Is it going to be sweet potato pie? Is it going to be...
Green bean casserole as a comfort. Well, that would be your comfort food, wouldn't it?
Well, I'm thinking Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So we're thinking mashed potatoes. We're thinking, lovely green bean almondine.
Well, that's what I was thinking, was mashed potatoes and gravy. Although, I don't know, I think ice cream is my year-round comfort food. And we're in Motown. We're in Michigan. It gets cold in Michigan. I don't care. 365 days a year if I could, if I had the metabolism for that. I don't know. Rob's probably out there thinking, you should be eating meat ice cream. I guess my third comfort food, if I was going to pick three, would be coffee.
Oh, yeah,
that's my
there
comfort
you go,
food.
there you go. Meat ice cream. If somebody jump on that quick, that's an opportunity waiting to happen.
Hey, I'm certain that my paleo friends have an answer to the question, well, what if you're craving ice cream? I don't know, their answer is probably no, but there might be something more creative you could do about that.
Jennifer says mac and cheese.
Mac and cheese? Hard to go wrong with mac and cheese.
Mary Aline says no to green beans.
Show sponsor Echo, of course, makes the best macaroni and cheese because she'll bake a macaroni and cheese.
Yeah,
that's the way to do it. We have been known to hit the box now and then. Although not the box with the powder. That's. We had a friend who was who lived to be just about our age, a few years past even, and he. Even at that age, was eating Kraft macaroni and the powder with the stick of butter.
I do like a good Kraft mac and cheese. If you've got the stick of butter, don't use margarine. Heck, throw in some cayenne pepper. It's delicious.
Dress it up.
Put some bacon in it.
Well, if you're going to put real food in it, why not start with real food? But anyway, tell us your comfort foods. Share them on the chat.
We've got Linda Cordera of Cordera Fine Art Gallery.
Says...
beef bourguignon.
Oh, you make a good beef bourguignon.
Très bien, mon ami.
When Amy cooks, she cooks with recipes unlike me, so she makes a good beef bourguignon.
Another mac and cheese and cookies.
Mac and cheese and cookies. Well, cookies are great comfort food.
Andrea says pot roast and apple crisp.
Nice.
That's nice.
Excellent.
Oh, and Jennifer says lasagna.
Can't beat lasagna.
I was craving that yesterday.
That's right. You wanted carryout from the Italian place up the street. Oh, but I kind of ruined that, didn't I?
You did.
Don't even remember.
Yeah, you made chicken tacos.
I made chicken tacos. That sounds so disappointing. And the missus wanted a good lasagna.
Yeah, at some point we'll. Trey says jambalaya. Oh, yes.
Jambalaya. Well, there you go.
You have to have some good fresh shrimp for that.
We're right back in New Orleans with Cafe Du Monde here.
Yes.
Go to Mama's place.
Or Mother's.
Mother's restaurant, yeah.
Yes.
That was crazy. Mother's restaurant. This is a place you go in and they will serve you authentic New Orleans food, but they will give you this monster-sized plate. I don't know, the carry-out, I guess, is supposed to be enough food for the rest of your vacation while you're there.
I suppose. It's just too much.
So keep those suggestions coming in, but in the meantime, what are we listening to this week?
Well, we're kind of watching.
Watching... Oh, the election returns?
No.
What?
we got done watching the wonderful Ted Lasso.
Oh, Ted Lasso. All right. Well, there's a recommendation for you. Ted Lasso, if you've heard about it, the kind of goofy premise, that was originally just a series of television commercials. They were so humorous, somebody got the idea, well, let's actually make a TV series about this American football coach in the they don't call them the minor leagues, whatever, in the non-professional leagues. Well, no, you're getting ahead of me here. An American football coach who is coaching football in the minor leagues. What are the minor leagues of football called?
Minor leagues?
I don't know. Whatever they're called.
You mean soccer?
No, you're getting way ahead of me here.
Well,
I can't even tell the story now because you've already told the second half. But basically, American football coach goes to England to coach a soccer team. The premise would be he has no idea what he's talking about. He doesn't know anything about soccer. He doesn't even know how to speak English. He only knows how to speak American. And the character is presented with what you assume will be naivete, but is actually just extreme optimism.
You know, this is what you get when you ask me about sports. I know nothing.
Oh, I didn't mean to set you up in that way. I know hey, people who know sports know I don't know much more than nothing. So.
Oh, we've got some more. We've got blueberry muffins for
blueberry
comfort.
muffins,
That's
soccer
delicious.
and blueberry muffins.
Yeah, Jennifer protests that Taco Bell no longer carries chicken. Darn them. Mary Eileen says she doesn't eat wheat anymore, but you can start with Kraft mac and cheese and add butter, good
Enough
quality
butter,
cheese,
good
and
quality cheese, a dash of hot sauce.
dash of hot sauce.
Enough butter. I think that's kind of the word.
Enough butter.
Mother's roast beef extra wet is awesome,
Mother's roast beef extra.
said Linda, but you better know how to order it. Uh-oh, kind of like ordering a cheesesteak in Philly. See, I don't,
Yes.
so I'm sure I would go there and get whatever slop they throw at the people who don't know any better.
Linda, you're just going to have to take us
So we
to
got to
New
go with Linda.
Orleans.
We got
Linda
a
and
double
Quint.
date.
Quint Cordair Fine Art.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Cordair.com.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah, so we've been watching Ted Lasso. The point is, we lost the point a long time ago, but it's a super optimistic show, super charming show, very clever. You see all of the pitfalls of a show like that, and you keep waiting for the cynicism or for the failure or for the embarrassing part.
Right.
And it doesn't happen.
No,
Now, I'm not going to give you any spoilers plot-wise, just for people who thought, oh, yeah, it's one of those goofy things where everybody's super optimistic and then we'll show them. Give it a shot.
Yes.
The only thing I can say is the last 15 minutes, it's 10 episodes, and they're short, half-hour episodes. The last 15, maybe even just the last 10 minutes
just skip.
were almost crushingly disappointing.
Just skip that part.
You know, there's a goofy element to a show like that, and they kind of gave, after all this great and semi-serious build-up and plots and characters and characterization and development and triumph and struggle and even failure but overcoming, and then the last 10 minutes is just, it might have well as been the Three Stooges. But
so, comfort foods.
Comfort foods.
Marilyn says poutine, which is the wonderful gravy-filled French fries of the North in Canada.
Mm.
Yes, and Chris says, if you're blue and you don't know which food to go to, why don't you try this comfort fix? Poutine on a Ritz.
Well, Chris knows more about humor than I'll ever forget. So
this is our good friend Chris, who wrote an amazing book about humor and comedy, which I can't wait to read. I think he sent me the manuscript, and I'm so bad I haven't read it yet. I don't know.
Oh, you need a paper copy in your hands.
Yeah. Yes. Love that, Chris. Thank you for that charming little ditty.
Well, the fun part of that, of course, is you were singing that song last week when Mr. Bones. We have a skeleton puppet doll that sings "Putting on the Ritz." So
what are we talking about?
I'm telling you, the confluence, the karma, the cosmic rays are coming in. It all comes together.
Serendipity.
So back to where we were. What are we listening to this week? Well, we watched Ted Lasso. It is recommended.
It was great.
After the last 5 minutes. What did I say? 10, 15, call it 5.
Yes.
The other thing we're listening to is Yaron Brook and his post-election episode, What Now? Creating the World We Want. See, what happens is every time I have a show idea, somebody else steals it.
I know.
And the problem is they steal it before I actually come up with it, so unless time functions backwards, I can't really prove that that's what's going on.
So unfair.
Yes. What now? Creating the world we want. Well, what happened is, not only did Yaron Brook do the show I already intended to do, but our good friend Mark Coldren.
Mr. Mark.
Of what show? Of what podcast?
Of Mr. Markland.
Actually, he's a Ford Motor Company executive engineer. Maybe he's an executive too.
He's
an engineer.
He's an engineer.
But him and his Mrs. Kayla are also in show business.
They are.
Well, local show business, but they're awfully good. And Mark had posted an outstanding comment that you should check out on Facebook. And Mark is like me in that he posts things publicly.
Yes.
because he's got stones. And he...
that he throws at windows.
That's right. And not glass houses, one would hope.
Right.
And the posts about the election. Mm-hmm. Speaking of Yaron Brook talking about the post-election, the results are in, says Mark, and I am grateful that Donald Trump will not be the president for a second term. As a swing voter in a swing state, I guess I helped make that happen, even though every vote is small compared to the total. In 2012, I voted for Mitt Romney, and in 2016, I voted for Gary Johnson. Mm-hmm. All of that is exactly what I could have and probably would have said.
Yeah. He's channeling your brainwaves.
Yeah. There have been many problems with today's political culture that existed long before 4 years ago, but President Trump brought his own to add and has been awful in his own unique way. Now, I have a lot of friends who will disagree with this, and I'm not going to go into the details of Mark's analysis of the last 4 years, which is really good.
Well,
even if you disagree with him, read it,
Yeah.
because it will at least let you know why your boy didn't win.
Well, there's one thing you can't say about Donald Trump, that he wasn't a unique man.
He was a unique man.
He's a
This
very
has been a
unique
very
man.
unique 4 years.
Very unique.
We will not soon forget the last 4 years. But getting back to Mark's post, what I do want to share and what I think everybody should be able to agree on.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
In 2016, he writes, I was distraught over President Trump's election and recommended several books on the sources of human progress. This time I feel much more of a sense of relief, but nothing has changed too much, in that neither Republicans nor Democrats, nor most independents, understand or appreciate these sources of progress as much as I think they should. So I'll recommend some of the same books again. Again, this is Mark writing. Now, I should point out that Mark has spoken at our annual convention, GlowCon, 5 years running.
He's
Always gives a good
awesome.
talk. But in this context, in 2018, he gave a talk called Ayn Rand and the New Optimists,
Yes.
in which he discussed several of these books that he's about to recommend to you.
Mm-hmm.
So the books that he recommends to you are The Rational Optimist by Matt Ridley,
Great.
The Birth of Plenty by William J. Bernstein, The Economics of Freedom, Frédéric Bastiat. I think that was edited by Tom G. Palmer.
Mm-hmm.
The Use of Knowledge in Society by F.A. Hayek, Atlas Shrugged by Ayn Rand, and
Yes.
Capitalism, the Unknown Ideal by Ayn Rand.
We'll have these in the show notes, I'm sure.
Then Mark wraps up his post saying, I look forward to working towards a better future with everyone as we navigate a pandemic, new technology, and a changing economy. The world we live in is pretty good and offers many opportunities to lead a life of happiness, prosperity, and personal fulfillment. We can make it even better if we think and act to make it so. Gotta love that.
Yes.
Gotta love having fellow optimists out there. Thank you so much, Mark. That was extremely heartening to read.
Yes. Thank
Again,
you for
there's
letting
more to
us
the
share
post.
it. Yes.
Mark Coldren, Coldren.
You're going to be famous now, Mark.
Well,
you just wait for it now. Okay.
you see, he's going to be famous just because of him and Kayla's song and dance.
That's right.
But yes, his political opinions as well deserve recognition.
Yes.
So that was good to see. And there have been a lot of other posts that sort of, again, already say what I think, which is, glad that's over. The election, I mean. Now, I don't know, should we take a minute and acknowledge it's not really over? The election hasn't really been called in the sense that it's not really called until the Electoral College passes their votes.
In December, right?
In December. Yes. And I don't mean to jump the gun. I wouldn't even say that it's certain that the news is right. They're right to report what they've written. There's every indication that, yes, the election is over. Anything could happen at this point.
Yes.
Look at 2000.
Yeah.
When Al Gore seemed like he may have won the election. Even 2016 was, a lot of people wondered if things were going to change from what they appeared to be. So I'm not saying that the election's over in the sense that I'm Nostradamus telling all of you people who are hoping for a different outcome, give up all hope. No, I'm not saying any of that. I should get that out of the way. But so many good things have been written this week. It is again, it's heartening, it's inspiring.
Yes, yes. Except for when Yaron Brook was talking today about the fact that President Trump passed a lot of the good things that he did through executive order, and now they're not going to stick.
Well, that's not something bad that happened this week. That's been bad since 2009.
I know.
Since 2009. I still remember the quote when Barack Obama was running into trouble getting some of his agenda passed, and he said, "Oh, that's okay. I've got a pen and I've got a phone." I remember thinking, wait, I've got a pen.
I've got a phone.
I could pass my... Then I realized what he was talking about, well, what everybody realized he was talking about, was the power of executive orders.
Yes.
See, in the United States, you can only do stuff if there's a law in place that you're enforcing. If you're in the administration, if you're in the executive branch, your job is to execute the existing laws. But what's interesting is how you execute them is up to you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you could take just about any law and say, there's already a law that says I have to protect the border, and my executive decision on how to do that is build a big wall on the southern border.
Right.
So it turns out that you can stretch that power, the power of an executive order, to do all sorts of things that maybe the law that you're basing it on wasn't originally intended to cover.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you've got precedent in place. You've got, sort of shared powers. You've got the three branches of government looking over each other's shoulder and the Supreme Court to overrule things. And you've got ways to keep that from going too far. But in the 2009 to 2017 administration, that got stretched about as far as it could be.
Yeah.
And I remember Republicans saying at the time, oh my gosh, Barack Obama is using all these executive orders. Well, when we're in power, we'll just do the same thing.
You live by the pen, you die by the pen.
That's right. That's right. And surprise, surprise, that's exactly what happened. So you're right. It is kind of a drag. It's kind of a drag that Vice President Biden, soon to be President Biden,
yep,
unless we're wrong, is already saying, hey, I got a pen too. I bet he's got a phone as well. I don't know. He's a little old to be using that modern phone technology, but I bet he can handle the pen.
I was going to say he's got a flip phone.
Flip phone. That's right. He's got that AT&T flip phone. So that was unfortunate.
So
what were we saying? The one mandate he's got is
gridlock.
Gridlock. Given that he won the election on a margin so slim that half the country doesn't even believe it, I think his only mandate is gridlock. His only mandate is you can try to do stuff and you can't. You can't have it. Sorry, Joe.
Yep. Yeah, Jogging Joe.
And if it seems like we're taking this a little more lightly than we should,
we apologize to everybody in the universe.
That's sort of my point. Is we just got through 4 years of whatever you think it was that we got through, and we just got through not an election but an election season. And we still got a month ahead of us before anything is set in stone.
Right. Now,
but at some point,
well,
you got to get back to living.
I know. Marilyn does say gridlock is good.
Gridlock is good.
Yes.
That's it. Even more than Gordon Gekko and greed is good. Gridlock is good. Gridlock is what made America great, because gridlock kept them off our backs while we went out and made America great.
Jennifer says, I have a pencil. Chris says, the pen is mightier than the continuing resolution. Very nice. Very nice.
Yep. So one of the things, I've been looking for inspiration and looking for more heartening stories. One of the things that was heartening was Stewart Wade Margolis, great writer. A lot of great essays on Facebook. He's been sharing his perspective, written for the Objective Standard, written with ARI. And he put up a post called Reclaiming Compassion.
Yes.
And what I love about this, it goes back, and you've heard me talk about this, it goes back to the idea that one of the mistakes that we make, one of the mistakes the right makes, is that they marginalize those who are marginalized.
Mm.
And what I mean by that is they will take the difficult questions and shrug them off as if they are an attack.
So they won't actually look at the ideas and try to be persuasive with ideas. They just...
Yes.
They're kind of reactionary in that way?
Reactionary is the right word. You know, immigration is a complex issue.
Mm-hmm.
Republicans, if they were right, should be willing to get into the weeds.
Yeah.
Not that they shouldn't have broad principles, but that they should be able to apply those principles to complexity. Another more obvious one was the question of gay marriage.
Mm-hmm.
And more recently, transsexualism.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Remember transsexual bathrooms? Which bathrooms are we going to let the transsexuals use?
The world was going to end because of this, and look, it didn't.
Yeah.
That's so strange.
And what I believe is that they missed the boat, not just because they were wrong, but because they took these issues, these marginalizing, these hair-splitting issues, and said, oh, that's just hair-splitting. That's just the margins. That's just 0.06% of the population. If they're right, and that's not the answer,
Right.
they should own that issue.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take it to us as advocates of reason, objectivists, and just anybody who advocates a rational approach to the challenges of life. The answer to complicated questions is not, oh, well, that's only 0.6% of the population or 0.06% of the population. Therefore, we shouldn't worry about it. We should pass a law against it. We shouldn't make it legal, whatever the blanket answer is. So when people like Stewart Margolis are willing to write an article called Reclaiming Compassion,
Yeah. Yep.
this to me is a unique kind of principled approach that says, oh, look, here's a difficult topic, or here's a topic where people are on the margins, or here's a topic that it would be easy to shrug off. But if we're the ones who are right, if we have the right answers, if we are rational, then we should own the immigration issue.
Yes.
We should own the issue of gay marriage or the issue of transsexuals. We should own those topics. We should have the answers, the right answers.
Yes.
We should be able to deal with the complexity. Stewart writes, the left often characterizes Ayn Rand's philosophy as, I've got mine, so screw you. They equate objectivism with social Darwinism. Unfortunately, there are some so-called objectivists who seem to believe this as well, who act as though objectivism is a license to be a jerk. Obviously, these people make poor ambassadors for the philosophy, but more than that, this is Stewart writing, I would argue that despite their ability to quote Rand chapter and verse, they are fundamentally missing the point. Ayn Rand said the purpose of philosophy is to teach us to flourish and live, not to suffer and die. Well, if you are emotionally stunted and unable to empathize with your fellow human beings, I don't see how you can lead a happy, flourishing life. Caring about other people does not make you weak or a second-hander. It makes you an evolved and decent human being. And while feelings are not a tool of cognition, they can give us useful information. I find that being kind makes me feel good. I think this is because kindness helps create a better world for myself and those I care about. And that most definitely is in my self-interest. Now that's just one paragraph out of Stewart's article. But he goes on to draw the distinction between altruism,
Yes.
philosophical altruism in the sense of self-sacrifice,
Yep.
and compassion, which rationally exercised is absolutely in your self-interest and is not an optional matter.
Right.
Just like friendship is not an optional matter. It's not second-handed to say, I want other people in my life. And it's not second-handed to say, I want to be good to people.
Yes.
So Reclaiming Compassion by Stewart Wade Margolis. Link to that is in the show notes. It's on his website as well as on his Facebook wall. Highly, highly recommended.
Yeah, but I know that you're going to be probably talking more about, I like the idea that, you're talking about, what the Republicans should be doing. They should be owning these issues. They should be enthusiastic and encouraged to actually talk ideas instead of, shrugging things off and saying, oh, that's just the marginalized group. We don't care about that. But more importantly, they should they should really embrace and love and hug and kiss the idea of ideas. That ideas are powerful. That ideas are something that you can use and you can understand. You can understand what's real, and then you can actually communicate that. You can be persuasive with those ideas.
Ideas.
Thinking.
Reason.
Yes.
Not mom, apple pie, and MAGA.
Yeah, not tradition and love of country and all that. Things like that.
Although if I'm right,
then
we, the advocates of reason, should also own motherhood.
Yeah.
And we should own apple pie.
We should own the best recipe for apple pie
That's
ever.
That's right. And we should own the concept of making America great again, because we actually know what that means.
Mm-hmm.
And that means individual rights.
That is right. Yes.
That means capitalism.
Yes. Jennifer says, when I argue with people who think drugs should be illegal, then so should alcohol. I am told that won't work because alcohol is too popular. Either all drugs, including alcohol, should be legal or not. Either all drugs, including
alcohol.
That's
so bizarre, because none of us were around 100 years ago, but the story of Prohibition is well known.
Oh, yeah.
It was actually a constitutional amendment that they then had to write another amendment to retract.
Right.
You can't actually remove a constitutional amendment. You have to write another one.
Yes.
Declaring the other one null and void.
Right.
And the story of what Prohibition meant in terms of crime, and not just crime, but what the government did, with the denatured alcohol, poisoning American citizens just to get them to keep from drinking.
Yes.
If that's, it's so, the idea that, we can't prohibit alcohol because it's too popular. Yeah, you're right. And that would cause all the things we saw in Prohibition. Oh, and you're right. That causes all of the things that we have right now in the drug war. Go figure. It sounds, Jennifer, like the people who are answering you are actually giving you the answer you should give them. And I'm sure you do, but I'm also sure that most of them don't get it.
And Jennifer says, why accept alcohol?
Exactly.
It should all be legal.
Exactly. And all of the objections that people will run themselves into the ground, and people will commit more crimes, they'll violate other people's rights, all of those things apply to alcohol.
Oh, Chris is at it again. They need another amendment for rehibition.
Rehibition. I have an inhibition about that.
I asked for more comfort food recommendations. I don't know if I said this before, but I know Jennifer
and Chris, of course, recommended Southern Comfort.
And Jennifer recommended chocolate mousse.
Chocolate mousse. Can't go wrong with chocolate mousse.
Deliciousness.
That's always a winner.
Yes. So we have more on the agenda here. What else do you got, mister?
Well, because I'm now kind of moving into... That's enough election. Let's get back to living. Maybe you wanted to read your...
Oh, yes.
Because Amy not only wants to get back onto living, but she wants to get back onto political action.
Yeah.
But of a post-election sort.
Yes.
So what have you been up to?
I want to reach out to my friends, Joe and Kamala and Gretchen and Rashida and Gary and Debbie and Warren and Tracy.
Oh, yeah. We mentioned that
my good friends.
Our good friend, the dude, David Dudenhofer, was up against Rashida Tlaib and didn't win.
Didn't win, but he got 50,000 votes. That's saying
good.
Something.
Yeah. Well, that's 20%.
Yeah, it's not terrible.
That's more than 19%. So
Exactly.
What did you write to all of these good people?
So I'm going to be taking a different approach. So to reiterate what our election special last week, we were talking about basically looking at politicians as normal people, as just regular people on the street. They are in these positions of power and all of this, but they are human beings too, and they are, at least potentially, capable of reason. Right? Right. So
Right.
that is my stand, and,
So
and I'm
you're
going to
writing to them as if they are people capable of reason?
Yes, exactly.
So that works out.
So this is what I write. I say, as someone whose political ideas do not fall along party lines, but only along advocacy for individual rights, I want to remind you that you hold a significant amount of power over my life. This is true, see. You may not think of it in these terms, but there is no denying that I am an individual, and there are certain conditions on which my life depends. And you have the power to positively or negatively affect my dreams, my income, my plans, and my happiness. For instance, you can call for more taxation from me directly or from my employer. The same for how you can call for more control over my employer, which then directly affects me. I know, as a Democrat, as you are a Democrat, you believe in the, quote, common good for all people. But please do not forget that we are all simply individuals who must make our own choices and live our own lives without harming others. I hope you'll consider the position about your own actions and think carefully upon whether your policies can cause me and my loved ones harm. You are an individual, yet you do hold these destructive powers over the rest of us. Please think upon this fact. And then I say, as the enlightened Russian-American philosopher Ayn Rand put it, the mind is an attribute of the individual. There is no such thing as a collective brain. There's no such thing as a collective thought. The primary act, the process of reason, must be performed by each man alone. We can divide a meal among many men. We cannot digest it in a collective stomach. No man can use his lungs to breathe for another man. No man can use his brain to think for another. All the functions of the body and spirit are private. They cannot be shared, transferred. And then I say, and I wrap up here, I believe that all human beings are individuals who are capable of reason. When you consider your next directive regarding COVID-19 or taxation or education or energy, instead of trying to control your fellow individuals, please try reason. Try for role modeling. Try for persuasion. Don't give up on my reasoning mind, and please don't give up on your own. A world of enforcers and obeyers is not a world I would like to live in, and I hope you feel the same. Sincerely.
Ooh.
So that's these are not letters to change the world. They're just to get ideas out there, and I consider them to be little poems coming from my heart. So yeah, and I actually get a lot of selfish pleasure from writing these. So as long as it's something I like to do, I'm going to do it. Yes.
So this will be the re-energized Opal.
Yep. Objectivist Political Action League.
Amy's Political Action League.
And we can all dress up as superheroes and wear capes.
Oh, I didn't know that was an option.
It is.
Wow.
It is entirely. Yeah.
I'm in. I'm in. I am absolutely in.
Yes, we do have some comments here. Mary Leen says, I don't pretend to understand transsexuality, but that is not a reason to oppose it. Minors are a separate issue. People have a right to make their own choices and live their own lives. I think most people are good people if you listen to them and don't automatically assume the negative.
Most people are good people.
There you go.
I
like that.
That is undeniable. Otherwise, the world would have gone to hell a long time ago. And instead, things just keep getting better. Mm-hmm. It's crazy. Because there's so many reasons to be pessimistic right now. So many bad developments, so many things that are stopping progress. That it's amazing that things just keep getting better.
It does. It is. It's wonderful.
Yep.
Yeah, so I will be sending this out tonight to my dear friends
Yes, that whole mailing list you had on there.
Yes, Radisha and Joe and Kamala and then also my Wayne County Executive Warren and my Redford Township Supervisor Tracy, who I'm sure perhaps I might actually get to know at some point.
Well, I'm sure they appreciate that you're already on a first-name basis with them. So that's what we're doing. We are in post-election life.
Yes.
And I want to encourage everybody else to do that too. You know, I mentioned that Christmas is right around the corner.
Mm.
And I have some links for you in the show notes that are so good, they're practically Christmas presents themselves.
Oh!
Some of them can be Christmas presents. So I'm going to throw a few recommendations out there and a few just honoring some objectivist-owned businesses.
Lovely.
Especially because, and thank you so much, several of these people are also contributors to the show.
Yes, thank you
These are
so
not
much.
paid advertisements. I've recommended these folks before, even before the money rolled in. But thank you so much. You really do keep us going.
Yes.
You know, first and foremost, because Christmas is coming up, is people should go to Aurum Naturals.
Aurum Naturals.
If you don't already know, that's A-U, like in gold, A-U-R-U-M, Naturals. The link will be in the show notes. It's a candle company.
Candles. Most
100% beeswax and bayberry
goodness.
candles, the best candles in the country.
They are truly extraordinary. They're high quality. They smell like honey. And there's all sorts of different fragrances that are not overwhelming and don't give you headaches, you know, as certain other candle companies
Well, I
might
don't really do fragrances much, but
Yeah.
yes, even their fragranced candles, most of their candles aren't fragranced. They're just beeswax.
And they're so
And they
nice.
and smell nice, but they burn forever.
They do.
And the flame from a beeswax candle with proper cotton wick is just not what you get from mass-produced petroleum-based candles. Anyway, best candles in the world, Aurum Naturals. They advertise themselves as the Joyful Candle Company. Order some of their stuff, and you will find out why.
Yes.
If you're in Southeast Michigan, Pro Restore, I've mentioned once or twice. If you ever need property restoration services, and, you know, winter's coming, pipes breaking, basements flooded, and, you know, other things that can happen. Who knows? Post-election season, there could be fire, arson, and you need your windows boarded up. In any event, any kind of property restoration services, Pro Restore. Link is in the show notes, ProRestore.com.
I almost lost it.
Well, these are good businesses. We have
Yes,
to tell people
yes.
about this stuff.
Our Restore is a fantastic company.
And finally, there's an art gallery out in the West Coast somewhere.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it's in Napa Valley, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, that was,
It's on the tip of my tongue. Oh, it's
wait, you've already mentioned
Quent Cordair Fine Art.
Quent Cordair Fine Art. Go to
They're-
cordair.com, Cordair. You can tour the gallery. You can do a virtual tour of the gallery.
360 virtual tour of the gallery, and it's so uplifting to see.
If you haven't already been there, if you don't already know about Quent Cordair Fine Art, do the gallery tour and your jaw will drop and you'll say, oh, that's why they make a big deal out of this.
Right.
That's why they think
and if-
that I should put some of this in my life.
And if you fall in love with something, you just contact Linda Cordair, and she's going to be there for you, and she's going to be telling you how to do it.
Linda Cordair,
You
the
can-
art goddess.
Yes, you could contribute money monthly and basically receive it later on.
They have a art program that you can get enroll in.
Yeah, and a club.
And then
Yes.
two final links real quick. Because we talk every week about, well, what are you listening to? Nowadays, you know, we listen to a lot of stuff. We take in podcasts, we take in audiobooks, we stream music. And a lot of that stuff, you know, has a monthly fee associated with it. But two things you can do free of cost, and that's why they're gifts to you. Lisa VanDamme has her Read With Me program,
Yeah.
in which she actually reads classics in her own amazing style. Lisa VanDamme of VanDamme Academy, school out west. On her website she writes, I am passionate about great books. Hugo wrenches my heart and makes me weep tears of anguish and wonderment. Rostand stirs me to noble ambition in work and love and life. Tolstoy challenges me to think and to feel on planes higher than I had ever known. Ibsen, Dostoevsky, Balzac, Jane Austen, Radigan, Sinclair Lewis have all helped me to see in the words of English professor Mark Edmondson, quote, that life is bigger, sweeter, more tragic, and intense, more alive with meaning than I had thought. So, read with me, great program, read along with Lisa VanDamme, the great books, and link is in the show notes. And finally, if there's a book that Lisa isn't reading, because this is done in real time, there's a bit of a back catalog now, but it's basically you're following along with what she's doing right now. If you want a catalog of older books that are already out of copyright, there's a program called LibriVox.
Yeah.
If you're aware of Project Gutenberg, gutenberg.org, it's essentially the text versions and in some cases HTML and formatted versions of all the books that they can get that are out of copyright. And that basically means all the books that are out of copyright. And a few years back, somebody got the idea, well, if all of these books are out of copyright, how do we get audiobook versions of them? And the folks at LibriVox, the LibriVox program, set up forums and had people come on and volunteer to read these books. So all of these books, the great old books, and there's so many books like Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, if you wanted to read that, but you never had. And you could pay Audible for it, and Audible's great, but you can go to LibriVox, and they have just volunteer readers. And some of these people are pro readers who've read professionally, and some of them are just your average Joe who volunteered to read the book. And some books have more than one reader because the first reading maybe wasn't ideal for somebody, and they thought they could do a better job. So LibriVox.org, link is in the show notes. Definitely worth a look if you like taking in audiobooks. And it's kind of fun to take in one that's not a professional read, but somebody who just loved the book.
Yes.
That can be a lot of fun, too.
LibriVox is very, very fun. And the fact that you can actually contribute to it if you want to and actually read something and make somebody's day, it's just wonderful.
Very cool.
Chris says, my first LibriVox book was Pride and Prejudice, and it was utterly fantastic. I re-listened to chapter 20 repeatedly because of how hilarious it was.
Well, see, now I'm going to have to look that up.
Yes.
Well, there you go.
That sounds great.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So we hope that you are winding down from this roller coaster of an election season.
Ooh.
If you are still fighting for a different result, more power to you, do that thing. Certainly we want to all be as certain as we can that the result we got or the result we're getting is the result that matches up with what actually happened.
Mm-hmm.
But as we wind down from election season, work our way into the holiday season, which for Amy and I means anniversary, and for most of the rest of you means Thanksgiving. Well, we're giving thanks. 20 years of marriage is something to be thankful for.
Absolutely.
But as we get our way into Thanksgiving and then into December and the Christmas season, and as we're thinking, well, how are we going to do the holidays with the various COVID restrictions? And there's things to be fought there, but mostly just figure out what you're going to do and do it. I hope that you're all focusing on your values.
Yes.
Focusing on the future. Focusing on your long-term plans, where you're at in your career, where you're at with your family, and letting some of the stressors of the last few weeks go.
Yes.
That's certainly what we're going to do.
And you can do this by listening to another of 5 Minutes with Robert Nasir from our previous episodes where we talk about letting it go.
Do you know that Amy works in marketing?
Do I?
Amy works in marketing for a living. There you go. This was not scripted. I did not know she was going to say that. But we always do it say at the end of the show.
Yes.
Show notes for the show will be posted online after the show within 5 minutes. So click those links in the show notes. There are tons of good resources this week.
Yes.
You can find past shows on youtube.com/Robert Nasir. And as I mentioned last week, we've now added a series of playlists. So if you'd like to listen to a few shows in a row on a particular theme, and we have a theme playlist that is focused on benevolence and optimism. We have another one that's focused on living well. There are several different playlists. You could fire up a YouTube playlist, play it all day at work, and make everybody around you listen to this. And they would be eternally hostile, grateful. You decide that for yourself. Playlists are now on youtube.com.
Yes.
You can also share the show from youtube.com. That would be awesome. because we had a record-breaking number of shows for the birthday episode. Don't know why. That one went into the hundreds.
Right.
And that's pretty cool.
It was just absolutely wonderful. Mind-blowing.
It was. We get a lot of views on Facebook. We're working on those YouTube numbers. So whoever's been sharing the show on YouTube, thank you for that.
Yes.
Keep it up. Don't stop. And speaking of thank yous, as I mentioned, we have some wonderful patrons. We have a couple of new patrons as well. Thank you so much to Paul and to Lisa and to everybody who has given to the show, and all of our regular patrons who have been with us since the beginning and who have come on as time has gone by. Thank you, Jay, for being a part of this. Thank you, everybody. We really appreciate it. If you're not yet a patron, but you're like, oh, man, I really want to be a patron. And I know you are.
Yes.
Patreon.com/Robert Nasir.
That's right.
Any questions or comments, and especially suggestions for future shows, go to the 5 Minutes with Robert Nasir Facebook group.
Yes.
And thank you for joining us.
Thank you, guys. This has been delightful.
We are so glad that you're here joining us for a election 2020 wrap-up.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not quite over, but at this point, it's time to look forward to what's coming next.
And last word from Jennifer, turkey is comforting.
Turkey is comforting.
Yes.
And we're looking forward to what's coming next on 5 Minutes with Robert Nasir.
Mm-hmm.
We've got a few technology improvements that we're making soon.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to make links to the show available before the show actually starts.
Yes.
So you get a reminder and you don't have to sit in front of your screen wondering, is it going to start right at 6 o'clock, or trying to remember.
Like you're pining by your phone.
We're working on the website for the show. There will be an actual separate website for the show. We're working on extending our syndication to other platforms. So
Yes.
things are brewing here at Nasir Central.
Nasir Central.
And you're a part of that. Thank you so much for
Thank
being
you.
here. As always, we wish you success. We wish you happiness. We wish you get over this outrageous roller coaster and back on the COVID roller coaster. No, wait. I did not say that. We wish that you have the election in your rearview mirror with some degree of comfort and are looking forward to the holidays.
Yes.
Thanksgiving, Christmas, Robert and Amy's anniversary, New Year's when it will be 2021 and everything will come up roses.
Yes.
All of the problems will be solved and everything will be great.
Mm-hmm.
Am I right?
You're so right.
I am so right. And I'm sure I left off somewhere in the middle of a sentence there because I'm just filled with the love for all these good people and looking so forward to the future. Thank you so much for being here.
Yes.
As always, we wish you, I don't mean the audience in general, I mean you, this person listening right now, you, this person watching right now, we wish you love.